And now to the latest on the coronavirus.
A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China.
President Trump declaring a national emergency just a little while ago.
Nearly 3 million more Americans filed for unemployment benefits.
Worldwide coronavirus deaths have passed the 1 million mark.
That he is now tested positive for COVID-19.
FDA authorizing the first vaccine in the U.S.
Over the course of human existence, pandemics have been an inevitable part of life. They have shaped the way we live, interact, and survive as a whole. It may seem easier to handle a pandemic with current advancements, but we still need knowledge, transparency, and effective action. Unfortunately, these efforts were neglected in 2020.
A democratic government must speak the truth even when it is difficult to hear. The current administration has shown us just how important the truth is to maintain the safety of society. They refuse to accept the reality of the pandemic.
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
Sideline scientific experts.
The president hasn't really respected or abided by what various scientific advisors have said at various points.
And as a result, thousands died, millions lost their jobs, and trillions of dollars were added to the national deficit.
By downplaying the situation, the leaders of our nation misled us into believing COVID should not be a part of our concerns. It wasn't until the many sideline experts and scientists started speaking out that we began hearing more about what was really going on.
Couple that also to attacks on experts, handcuffing the CDC, and just a lot of misinformation that's spreading all over. That's also made it much harder to respond to this pandemic than it needed to be.
This is not a trivial disease. People in the United States should realize that it is not a trivial disease.
If the past government had listened to these experts rather than the politicians, life could have been completely different now. Just by enforcing a mask mandate in public, like many health officials have suggested, would lower transmission rates and significantly lower the number of cases.
Really elucidating the evidence behind masks and showing that that's one way to move forward will be helpful.
However, the past administration refused to enforce strict policies in fear of losing supporters.
Essentially, putting their political concerns over the safety of millions.
Because of our country's inability to be fully transparent about the realities of the pandemic, there have been 373,000 deaths, 22.3 million cases, and 10.74 million unemployed. In fact, some experts would argue that there are people exempt from these unemployed figures.
Unemployment and underemployment, which is worse than you would think just from looking at the headline numbers. So you're only counted as unemployed in the data if you are looking for work and not finding it. If you are discouraged and you say you report to the survey that I'm not even looking for work, you're not considered part of the labor force and you're not unemployed.
By hiding the plain and unclouded truth from its citizens, the government is contributing to the issue rather than working towards a solution.
Unlike America, other regions were able to overcome the struggles of the pandemic. One of these countries was New Zealand, where Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern took strict and immediate action as the pandemic began. She was also entirely clear to her citizens about the harsh truths behind the virus. Because of this, New Zealand has little to no cases today and is back to an ordinary life.
At the same time, it is important to realize that all countries have their own unique situations. America has the world's largest economy, and it is important for us to find the balance between public health and finance.
In fact, some people say, well, it's a health problem, we should leave it to the public health professionals, but that's just not true. It's a health problem, but the remedies also involve economics.
Additionally, though the past administration has lacked transparency for most aspects of the pandemic, they have been clear with their action plan when it came to providing the nation a vaccine as quickly as possible.
Vaccine, I think we're going to be successful in doing it, and hopefully by the end of the year.
As part of Operation Warp Speed, they set out to provide 300 million doses of safe and effective vaccines, with the initial doses available by January 2021. By outlining all of these concerns, we want to address the current COVID situation and argue that all sectors of our community must be united towards a common goal.
Openness is one of the foundational pillars upon which democracy thrives. Thus, the government must be completely transparent about the facts behind health crises, so we can take the proper steps and be entirely aware of the situation we are in. We urge President Joe Biden
and Vice President Kamala Harris to empower all branches of their administration to embrace honesty and transparency
throughout their term in office.